For brethren, this very word is still relevant to this very moment. And it is my prayer, as the Lord says, it's going to make manifestation. It's going to bring positive turnaround to destinies. We will be looking at the importance. We'll be looking at the significance of that message from King David unto his servant, who were humiliated at their point of duties, at their point of missions. We are going to be considering what Jericho actually means to today's Christians. We are going to be looking at the importance of this, how we can apply this to our day-to-day activities. And I trust God, who is able to do all things, to minister unto every soul. Brethren, I believe and I understand some of us, we have studied this aspect of story at one point or the other. But let me just summarize it. A king at a point died, and another king called King David thought it wise to comfort and to console him. King David sent his own messengers, his servants, to go over there and say sorry for the loss. But their intentions was misunderstood. Their intentions were misinterpreted. They thought they have come to spy on their city. And they detained the servant of the king, King David. They shaved the beard. They shaved their beard in a very humiliating way. They cut their gowns. Gown of royals they were wearing. They did not only do that, they embarrassed them. King David got to hear about this, then he sent message to them. As the servants were coming back to Jerusalem, he said to them, tarry at Jericho. Say to somebody, tarry at Jericho. King David sent this powerful message to his servant that don't come home now. I know you have been deformed. I know Satan has actually tormented you. I know you were innocent, but your intention has been misunderstood. Stay at Jericho. Wait at Jericho until your beard grow again. Wait there. Today we will look at how important this message is. We are going to be looking at the relevancies of this message to our Christian life, and we will explore in detail what Jericho actually means at this point. Brethren, say to somebody near to you, say, hold fast your seatbelt. This king's action, that is King Hanun, his action could be interpreted as very disrespectful, very shameful, and an action of misinterpretation of intention. King of Ammonite, he actually caused to the children of Israel retardation. They were deprived, what we call psychological illness. These servants suffered it. They suffered isolation because they couldn't go back to Jerusalem. They had to stay somewhere outside Jerusalem, about 18 miles from Jerusalem, Jericho. They suffered stigmatization. They suffered diminished self-esteem and decreased personal confidence. I want you to note this. The message of King David to the affected officers is the message of God for you and I at this point in time in our life. The message is, please stay at Jericho. Say to somebody, please stay at Jericho. I don't want you to complete the other bit because you might be sitting to a woman. If you say, until your beard go again, they'll be looking at you. I have ever grown a beard. Stay at Jericho until your beards grow again. My people, God is very conscious of what the action of Satan has cost you. God is very aware. He knows all this, that the evil has done to you, and is therefore begging you to please stay in Jericho while he restores you while God rebuilds you to perfection. So, brethren, briefly, what does this Jericho imply? Jericho is a place or position after the voice of God. God actually chose that place for them. God could have allowed them to stay with the Ammonites, but God said, stay at Jericho. Jericho is a place of position after the voice of God. Jericho is not that conducive, as it can never be compared to where the Israelites, the servant of the king, came from, and it can never be conducive as where they are going to. So Jericho is not your house, and it is not an house of honor. Jericho is a stage of life and a place known to God. God mentioned that name to them. He said, stay at Jericho. Jericho is that present position you are. It does not glorify God, but God says, stay there. Stay at Jericho. Jericho is your afflicted state. That position of affliction, you find yourself present. God is aware of it. King David was aware of the affliction done to the servants, and he spoke through the Spirit of God in him that stay at Jericho. So Jericho is a place where you are presently. It does not give you joy. It does not make you happy. But God is joy. He is aware of where you are and is ready, is happy, is hoping to give you joy. Jericho is a place where you need to put up with loads of insults. You know the bears? That is one of the signs, identity of the Jewish. When you see them, you see it very long. For somebody to shave it is insulting. It's embarrassing. They have deprived them of the identity of Christ. They have denatured what God has called them, holy. So Jericho can be defined as your present position of embarrassment, your present position of unfruitfulness, your present position of lack, your present position of loneliness. That is your Jericho. Your present position of joblessness. That is your Jericho. Your present position of shame. Your moment of, I want God to do something. That is your Jericho. Your stage of common insult and uncommon embarrassment, and a position where you look at yourself and you look up and say, come on, God, do something. The whole world is waiting. My hair must grow again. That is your Jericho. Let's look at it from this angle again. You are at Jericho when you suffer temporary disappointment. During the course of you doing what God asked you to do. Remember, the servant of God were on godly mission. They were going on the mission of Christ. Mission of comfort, care for your neighbor. And their visit, their intention was misunderstood. So we can look at it and say Jericho is you when you suffer temporary disappointment. During the course of you doing what God asks you to do. Are you here doing something that God has put into your mind, and you are suffering insult as a result? Are you listening to this? You are actually hearkening to the voice of God, and the outcomes are very embarrassing. Hold on, you are just in your Jericho. Say to somebody, you are only in your Jericho. Most of the time we say, God, you told me to start this business. Now I am failing. I am in big debt. But then I am telling you, you are just in your Jericho. Most of us will say, God, you told me to go to school. Now I am failing exams. But then I am pleased to tell you, you are in your Jericho. You say, God, you told me to marry this man. Now see the torture that I suffer on a daily basis. But then you are just in your Jericho. Some of us will say, God, you told me to leave Africa and come to Western world. Now I am a professional cleaner. After 2 or 3 certificates at higher level. Don't cry. Don't mourn. You are just only at your own Jericho. Some of us will say, God, you told me to start a ministry, and now I am in a big mess. Don't panic. Don't worry. You are only at your Jericho. When you encounter disappointment during the course of you doing what God has actually said you do, you are just at a stage that God has you to be. He is aware of it. So what do you need to do at your Jericho? Be patient. As long as you are doing what God has asked you to do, as long as you are hacking after the voice of God, and the outcome are very embarrassing, the outcome are not very encouraging, the outcome are not biblical to you, just be patient. At your Jericho, be focused. Jericho is not your home. Jericho is a temporary abode. Be focused. At Jericho, you need to be prayerful.
Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey.
You have trusted Christ that far, and that's why you are doing what he asked you to do. He asked you to marry that man. You prayed about it. He asked you to start that job. He asked you to commit all to him. You have done it. But look at things not coming. Things are not coming the way you expected it. The miracles are delays. The testimonies are slow coming. Don't worry. All you need to do, be aware. I am only at Jericho. It is not my house yet. I am only at Jericho. It's a stage known by God. I am only at Jericho. I need just to focus. I am only at Jericho. I need to pray more. I am only at Jericho. I need not to lose my concentration. I am only at Jericho. I just must evangelize. I am only at Jericho. I need to be reserved. I'm only at Jericho. I must worship Christ and be expectant of God calling. Remember, God says, be at Jericho until your beard grow back. And you can now return. You need to be aware that you are going to the next level. God is taking you from there to the next level. After temptation, there is always that testimony. After that trials and tribulation, there is always mighty testimonies. Remember, it says, as many who has fought the battle, and they have won, they are the one called overcomers. And they are the one that will be crowned. If you have never sat for an exam, nobody will say congratulations. Your Jericho is a position of examination that brings manifestation to the great name of Christ. Everybody goes through Jericho. I want you to know that what is happening to you is not only common to you. Don't see it as peculiar. Don't see it as it's common to black people. Don't see that it's common to people from my family. Don't see that it is common, it happened in our lineage. No. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to anyone. What happened to you is not new. You are not the only one who will go to Jericho. You are not the only one, and you are not going to be the last one to be at Jericho. Anyone can find themselves at Jericho at one point or the other of their life. The rich, they can be there. Money buys everything. There's something money cannot buy: salvation. The poor, they find themselves there. The officers, they find themselves there. The good, they are at Jericho at one point or the other. The unexpected, you see them at Jericho at one point or the other. The bad one, you see them at Jericho. The prophets are there. Jericho is a temporary part of your journey into greatness. Your Jerusalem, the God-chosen city, is sent to them and say, tarry at Jerusalem until your bed grow again. Say to somebody, my bed will go again. Be careful if you're a woman to say that. Yes, my hair will grow again. Prophet Elijah also found himself in a similar situation, in what we can liken to his own Jericho. The book of 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 11 narrated what happened to Elijah while he was waiting on the Lord to pass. I told you the prophets can find themselves there, the pastors can find themselves there, anyone can be at Jericho at one point or the other of their life. Elijah found himself there. It happened as he was running away from Jezebel. Who told you women are not more powerful than men? Wait until you see or marry Jezebel. You will pick race. Our Lord Jesus Christ had to wait at his own Jericho, at a point in his own time. It was has to be taken away to Egypt as a baby, so that the then king of Herod, will not be able to kill him, as recorded in the book of Matthew chapter 2 verse 13 to 14. Listen to this. The purpose of his journey, that is Jesus Christ, was purely saved, and most importantly, to fulfill what prophet Isaiah had already said about Jesus. So brethren, if you find yourself in one Jericho today or the other, I want you to see it as God plans. See it that God allows it. See it that God hasn't deserted you. See it that God has not forgotten you. See it that you are